Series S.
Will it make me sweat? Yeah.
Series S.
Yeah. Will it make me wet? Yeah. Well.
The secret weapon for Microsoft in Europe looks to be the Xbox Series S. Now, the Series S is easier to produce. There's less components to produce. The cost of production is less, and that's why you're seeing more Series S's on store shelves. You're actually able to buy the Series S from the Xbox dashboard on your Xbox right now. Go into games, go into consoles. Series S is there for $299. They're saying that in Europe, it's Microsoft's secret weapon, and that's the reason why the Xbox Series consoles are selling very, very well. Coupled with Game Pass, $299, cheap. People are buying them because they're readily available on store shelves. Now, the article goes on to say that most of these big swings for consoles in terms of outselling one or the other usually occurs when a big exclusive releases. But with the restrictions lifting and people looking to get into the market for a new next-gen console, it's the ones that are readily available on store shelves. So the happy accident for Microsoft was going with a weaker SKU, not just a SKU that was the same as the Xbox Series X without a disk drive. They actually went with a weaker SKU that was easier to manufacture, less production cost, less components to produce the system. So clearly, that is why you're getting more of those systems produced versus the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5. And when those consumers go into stores and they're looking for a next-gen system, they're just picking up the Xbox Series S when it comes to Microsoft's offerings. Another factor to consider in terms of the success of the Xbox Series S is the fact that scalpers are just not paying attention to that system because it's readily available. And the same will happen once the Series X and the PlayStation 5 become readily available. And that's when I think you're going to have to revisit this bump in Xbox Series console sales, because it looks like overall more people are interested, of course, in that Nintendo Switch because they've got great games, and the PlayStation 5 with those two SKUs that are identical. Once those are readily available, we'll have to revisit this bump in Xbox Series consoles over the PlayStation 5 in this specific region, Europe. Now, I own an Xbox Series S and I am having a great time with it. However, recently I'm noticing that even cross-gen games like Dying Light 2 are having a hard time running on the Series S. And in turn, the Series X is suffering because of optimization and the fact that they've got to pay attention to the little brother who just doesn't have as much beefcake as the big brother. I think that's going to become an issue going forward with this new generation when it comes to games that are specifically targeting next-gen specs. I'm talking about RAM differences. I'm not talking about using resolution and frame rate as a metric for buying a Series X. I'm talking about polygon count. They're going to have a hard time squeezing those big next-gen games into the Series S, and in turn, the Series X from a first-party standpoint and even big third-party next-gen only games are going to suffer on the Series X because of the Series S. So I think this success for Microsoft is a double-edged sword, and they've got to be careful because pulling in consumers with price and Game Pass is fine. It seems to be working for Microsoft. It is the only way they found to compete with the global brand of PlayStation. However, as the generation continues, those hardcore gamers looking for those big next-gen titles, those big first-party titles that wow us all, are probably going to be blown away by Sony's first-party because unlike Microsoft, they have two SKUs that are identical in terms of power. But the good news is Microsoft's managed with the Xbox Series S to outsell the PlayStation 5 for this particular week in Europe, and that is a big deal. I will link the article in the description below. Give it a read for yourself and let me know what you think down there in the comment section about the Xbox Series S eventually. Is it going to hurt the Series X and Microsoft's first party producing something fantastic to compete with Sony's first party? Because essentially they've got the same canvas to paint with, the same power. They don't have to worry about squeezing their vision down to fit the little brother lack of beefcake. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Did you like the video? Hit the like button and do me a favor, subscribe to the channel.